I should like it much better that there was really a God in which you could trust, and when you should die, well, you should go to the arms of a God or something like that, and you should tell, come on, you were good in your life, and now you can rest, or something like that. That's what I should prefer, not this. That there is, well, I don't know, but you say that there is nothing, and only myself, and I have to make it on my own. I don't like it so much.
Back to the church.
Yes, I would like to.
That's what I'm telling you.
Every Sunday singing and so on. I never did, but I...
Now you're going to
easy,
go back to the church, that's all.
Yeah. I saw a film of Tibet.
Comforting, it's very comforting.
Yes.
The church is very comforting.
Yeah, all the rituals and so on.
Yes. That's what I'm telling you all the time. Back to Christianity. You're not going to go back anyway.
No, now it's too late.
Not too late.
Yeah. You know too much. Yes.
You will not be happy there.
No, I know.
Even if you try, you will not be happy here. So what do we do about the situation?
Put a light on.
1 month there.
Van de lijken van de EO. Kan het erbij?
The light.
Kan het? We stoppen hier dan.
Ik heb nog een batterij.
You have enough on the table.
No.
But their systems, and then you could not refuse, of course. And I can tell you a situation that someone would.
Well, they don't have to hijack me. They'll go there willingly and listen to them, that's all. I'll have nothing to say. Just sit there and listen.
On a stage, say nothing.
They will never get together, you see, you can be sure.
In the beginning it's funny what you say, but afterwards I get really nervous.
It's bothering you, huh? 30 days you are there in Gestad and
Yeah.
another 2 weeks here or 1 week, I don't know how long. And then you want to come to India, that's too much. She wants to come to India and 3 months, oh my God, that's... Ask. You're courting disaster. Don't think so?
What is disaster? A ramp, yeah, maybe. Well, we'll see.
Let's see. You can't stay away, you know.
No, I know.
You are in trouble. Can't leave it and then... What to?
Or to visit a certain relationship of mine, which is a very strange person. It's a boy who has been in 3 mad houses, but he's not mad. He only communicates in a very strange way. In a very, well, immoral way, for example. If I sit with him in a tram in southern Amsterdam, and he sees three very distinguished ladies. He just shoots at them like I cannot imitate it in a way. Well, let me put it this way. I have a certain feeling about certain people that I know that they get out of the set code of behavior of society, and people label them as fools or something. But somehow I have a feeling that they are not crazy at all. They are kind of they're not enlightened or whatever. They haven't gone beyond, but they are also not foolish. I according to my personal feeling, I value them even more sane than most people I know. But you can hardly talk with them. Like I think that every one of us has this inner dialogue that you talk about, but they actually talk in themselves while they are with other people. And then they are very associative, I don't know when it's the right word, associative, their behavior is like collage.
Yeah.
It is very, very direct often, also sometimes very cynical, very sarcastic. And somehow I very much believe in direct contact with people, and I think contact that there is to be had with you is enough for me to can be with words or cannot be without words. Can be without words as well. But at the same time, I think such people. I talk about these people. Maybe can you picture them? Do you have any idea how they could be, how they would be, or is it just?
The hair's breadth difference between him and me.
There has to be.
Hair's breadth difference between the so-called insane and sane people. And the rest are normal. There are only 3 categories of people. The so-called insane, the so-called normal, and the so-called sane. This is my sane,
Yeah.
and I don't forget about sane. And see, the insane man thinks that he is sane and everybody else is insane.
And it's also what he says that sometimes if he is in a
Yes.
aggressive mood, he says to everyone.
No, if you don't accept him, he becomes violent. That's all. We turn them into violence. We are responsible. You see, they have given up. They're not interested in fitting themselves into the framework of the society. They have given up, you see. So we push them and to fit into that framework of ours, which we consider to be the perfect one. And so they think that they are the only sane people and the rest of the world is insane. And the so-called normal man thinks that he is not normal. He must be something else. This is what everybody is trying, you see. He is not satisfied with himself. So he wants to become something else, you know. That's the only difference between the two.
And the third category is which you say the same.
Same person is very rarely you come across, who is neither indulging in hallucinations nor living in a world of illusions. He's neither this nor that, you see. He's just what he is.
You mean people exist in that way, living in that way?
Sane people.
No, the third.
Yes, you can be sane if you don't want to change yourself into anything else. If you don't want.
I mean, people exist who don't want to change.
Yes, sure.
Oh yes.
You can be that one.
So people who don't want to change, people who don't care about things.
Do you or do you not want a change?
What?
Do you or do you not want a change in you?
No,
You do?
I want to change.
Do, yeah.
You know, I was talking about the third category.
So you are not a normal person.
No, I know. But I wonder.
No, I don't mean you see. Anybody who wants to be something different
yes, but
is not a normal person. Is he?
Yes.
So we call them all normal people in this world. You see, we have a psychological norm established. These are the behavior patterns of a normal man. So you're all the time interested in changing yourself into something else.
Yes, me.
So you are
But
that applies to everybody.
Everybody.
Everybody. You see. So that is why you are dissatisfied with yourself.
Yes, but what about the third category?
Forget about the third category. Now these two.
Yes, but you said that there also are
The
people
third
who
one
want
is
to change.
the sane person. That's the only sane person who does not live in illusions,
Yes,
the world of
But
illusions.
people who are not enlightened, can they belong to the third category?
Forget it. I'm not talking about the enlightened. You are talking about the enlightened. For me, there is no enlightened person at all.
No, I know, but I have to talk.
Forget about the enlightened.
Okay.
Forget about the enlightened.
Yeah, then it is impossible to.
It's simple. It simplifies the matter very much.
Is
Why
it?
you are dissatisfied with yourself? That
I
is
know
it.
it.
No, you see, we have to put it on a personal level and not talk in generalities. You may not like, you see, my pushing you into that situation.
No.
That is very important. Otherwise, there's no point in talking. You know, why do you want to be something different? All the time.
Yes, well, that's clear.
Yes.
That's clear. I know it, but we talked about it already. But I see that there's no use to talk about the third category. Otherwise, I should do my best, for instance, to belong to the third category. But I wonder if there are people.
Don't bother about that. Whether there are.
It is natural for a human being not to change, not to want to change himself. Is that natural for a human
No,
being?
you see, that is all right. You want to bring about a change in you. You want to change one thing. And at the same time, you don't want to change.
But that's natural.
Not natural. That is the neurotic situation.
But a human being is neurotic, isn't it?
Yes, you're neurotic, yes.
So you can say that
So it is the
natural?
culture, no, it is the culture that is responsible for the creation of neurosis in the individual, wanting two things at the same time. Greed is natural, jealousy is natural, ambition is natural. You understand?
Yes.
So the culture says, you see, don't be greedy, don't be ambitious. Violence is natural, don't be violent, this culture says. Because violence always disturbs the status quo. Continuity is all that the culture is interested in, the society is interested in. So it has created these two things for you. I don't know. So culture is responsible for that.
But the human being is always concerned with culture.
So you see, that is why you want to change.
Yes.
All the time. But yet, you see, something there doesn't want any change. Tomorrow, you see, 10 years hence you want this. You see, whatever you want. But not today.
No.
So you don't want a change.
Yeah, strange.
Very strange, isn't it? You want two things at the same time.
Yeah.
So the other thing doesn't exist. That's all that I'm saying. The goal which the society has placed before you is just an idea, but this is reality. Your greed is a reality. If you are not greedy, that means you are sick. You are a sick person. You are not a healthy person. Yeah. So the society has turned you into a sick person.
Yeah.
Unhealthy situation, this one. Don't rebel against the society. That is too silly, you see. All the mad people gathered together and they think that's the only real world. You're not going to change anything there. So you should be ambitious. You see, if there is no ambition, you are finished. You have no place in this world. If the society tolerates for some reason or the other, you can survive. So these are the essential things for your survival in this world. And at the same time, the same culture says that you should not be greedy, that you should not be ambitious, that you should be kind, that you should be this, that you should be that. Don't you see? So you are not greedy actually, see, because you see that the ideal that is placed before you is responsible for your misery. So that is false. As far as you are concerned, that is false. And that is not only false, but it is falsifying you. You are pretending something that which you are not. Basically you are that. I don't know. So you are suffering. That's a very healthy thing, you see. You know.
Yes, maybe because of this, but more and more when I'm sitting here with you, I feel the dishonest in myself. It's such a stupid feeling.
Right.
Well, that I'm sitting here, but in fact I feel that it is. It's really just entertainment. Really, I need it.
No, it is not that. You may think that it is an entertainment. No.
No, but it feels like something is.
So it is not just entertainment. It is not just an entertainment as you think it is. No, not at all. It's bothering you.
It is?
It is, it's bothering you. She would like this to be, see, on the level of entertainment. You are trying to keep it on that level, but no. It is hitting you all the time. Not, see, the dishonesty of yourself, not what I am saying.
Yes, but I like it that it will stay entertainment because.
Yes, you would like that, you see.
Because when you say that it is only adding, and that it is worse, and that it doesn't help me, and that it could make me cuckoo, then I hope that it is just entertainment. And
you hope, but you don't think it is.
No, for that reason I am afraid.
Yeah.
But still I don't stay away because that's the same.
Try it, you see. You can't stay away.
No.
Then that will create a problem for you. Wanting to stay away, you see, will be more painful than coming here. Not that I want you to come here. I don't care whether you are here.
No, I know.
Whether I don't, if I don't, you know. Yeah, I'm not your savior anyway. So, if I don't see you, it's all right with me.
I sometimes think about sickness, and I'm very afraid to get sick. Maybe cancer or I don't know. But, in earlier days I thought, well, okay, if I get it, then I should be strong and make something of it, spiritual, something like that. Because I thought when your body is going down, my spirit shall go up, something like that. But you say just romantic stuff. It's finished. It makes me so afraid because, yeah, you know why. You know what I want to say. And everybody.
No, I don't know what you're going to say. Come on, say it.
Well, if there is nothing what you call romantical, if there is nothing what's higher than just a sick body or a dying body, and it's dying from now on.
It is not it's not a sick body. What's the sick body?
No, but when you're sick, for instance.
That, so why do you bother about when you are sick? You see, when you are sick, you can handle that problem then. Don't bother about it now.
Yes, but so I think before I get it, something like that, I want to be in my mind strong. I want to know it so that I can sick or I don't know what, and then I can say, well, I don't care, because I know something else. But there is nothing else, and that's the thing. That's disillusioned. That's difficult for me.
You want to be prepared for cancer.
Well, or something like that.
Something like that, no.
Yeah.
You have no chance of getting cancer. No, don't bother.
I remember that in earlier days I always was praying when I was from 2 years old. It gave me such a good feeling, eh? But now nothing remains.
No, you can't pray. You are in trouble.
Yeah.
Good lady.
So that's it.
Back
I wonder how it
you
is
can't
after
pray
10
now.
years.
You see, that's the problem now. You have created a very awkward situation for yourself. You can't go back to prayer. Try
No,
it.
I know.
You can't
No,
go
no.
back to prayer at
No.
all. It's finished.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm? So then what do we do?
Playing football. Yeah.
And then
Do you support the
Then
idea
the fellow says that it's not a 10 football court. What do you do then? Sorry.
But do you support the idea that thought creates reality, that the environmental reality is created first by the mental
Yes,
reality?
yes. The whole world is a creation of you. You don't know anything about the world.
So instead of praying, it would be just setting your thought pattern in a certain way.
That's all. But sometimes prayers work, you see, not because there is anything to the prayer, but your desires have that tremendous momentum, you see, the power.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes your desires are fulfilled, sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Your own desire, not that somebody else is rewarding you for your prayer or anything. It's not always the case, you see. So, but anyway, it's out. Prayer is out, Margaret. Don't try any. So you have to find out something else.
Yeah, but in an empty shop it is difficult to find something, yeah?
Hmm?
In an empty shop it is very difficult to find
Yes,
something.
that's why I'm standing outside the doors of the shop. I'm not opening it. I say there are no goods here to sell. Yes. That's exactly what I'm saying. I have no goods here in the shop. It's empty. It's what I'm telling you. You say there's something there, I know. What am I to do? That is true. I say my shop is empty. See, there's nothing to sell here. And you say, I have some goods. I say, I don't have any goods to sell. You say, there it is. You say. Don't push, you see, these similes to the logical conclusion and they become ridiculous. You just leave it at that. And so you're recording all this.
He's always surprised.
No, I'm not surprised. It's a waste of tape. 30 cassettes, what are you going to do with it? I talked for 45 minutes? Huh? Well,
It's very strange, eh? As long as the period that I know what I want, I will be here, I'm sure, because I don't know where to go else. Then every
What
time...
do you want? You have not answered my question.
No,
What do you want? Tell me.
Yes, but as long as I don't know it, then every time I ask some questions and they're all silly because I don't know it. But the time that I know it, I will not be with you anymore. That's so strange, eh?
You know what you want.
No, I don't know.
No?
No.
No, you know what you want, in a way.
Yeah, in a way.
Yes. All the wants are the same.
Yes, I know what you mean by really wanting. When you're totally hungry and totally thirsty, then you don't fill up such a little bit hungry with food and such a little bit thirsty with something all the time. That's what we do now. So I know what you mean. I can't say anything about it.
It's not burning you, the hunger.
No, not at all.
The thirst is not burning you. You are satisfied with the crumbs that people throw at you. You see. You take some.
Snap je het een beetje?
Ja.
Als je nou iets leuks weet van hem, zeg jij het nou.
Ja, nee.
What? What are you asking?
I said, do you understand it? If you know something nice from me, then you tell me instead of you. But,
I understand.
Yes, yes. Huh?
Gee, there's a woman in America who gets very explicit teachings from spirits or disembodied being. What value, how is this possible? And what value does it have? You've heard about it?
Yes, Seth, you are talking about is a Jain somebody, huh? I've heard about that, huh?
Jane Roberts.
Roberts, yes. Seth or something, yeah.
What's she doing?
So maybe some kind
Oh
of
yeah, oh yeah,
setback.
oh yeah.
But what makes you think that they are not her own? Huh?
Because she
Why you
was-
give credence to?
maybe
Why attribute whatever she is saying to some? I don't know what something other, and that she is the medium for. And I know a lot of people, they auto writing, I don't know, medium spirits talking through them, and all that kind of a thing.
It is herself, it becomes even more strange because she talks about things she does know nothing about. And well, she's very creative, like in lots of ways in which she is not in a normal state.
But you see, you forget one thing, that all the store of information is there in you too. You know, in some cases, you see, there is a leakage somewhere. You know, so it is flowing through them. Sometimes it is organized, sometimes it is disorganized. It flows through. That's what it's there, locked up in you too. You don't have to attribute it to some spirit that is talking through you. You see, they feel that they are possessed by something because they themselves don't know how this is happening. You know, I have known a person who is just an ordinary housewife, and she's not even educated, and she calls this auto writing. See, she doesn't speak, but she writes. And during the course of 10-15 years, she has filled up a room twice the size of this room with her writings, you know. And all kinds of abstract things, which she is not capable of that, you know. And poetry and so many things. And metaphysics, and then she her advice to the people, and then you know, about the future of the people, and then medicines, all kinds of things. You see, she came to see me once. She happens to be my cousin, you see, and she doesn't call them any spirit or something, you see, and she didn't know what to call it, but she called it automatic. The instructions came pouring to her, you see, and through some of those instructions were in the nature of training her, you know, yoga, meditation, and breathing exercises. And she practiced everything that the instructor, I don't know, whatever, the instructions we call them. And there came a stage where the instructor, I put it in quote and unquote, advised that lady, you see, my cousin. So we have done the best that we can do. But there is one man there who happens to be your cousin. He is the one who can put you on the right path from now on. And she said, that's the one person I don't want to see, because she had everything against me. She felt that I deserted my wife, neglected my children. She was in a way responsible for my marriage, and she felt so hurt. And she didn't want to have anything to do with me, you see. So that's the one person I will not see. The instructions came day after day, day after day. If you want any spiritual progress, further progress, you have to go there. We have done the best that we can do. And she finally came to see me, you see. And I said, you see, she wanted initiation from me. You know. See, I have been guided by the force within me to get the final initiation from you. I said, that is something which I can't do for you or for anybody. So go back to to the force that has sent you to me. And then they persisted, you know. And she came back again and again, and I sent her back. See, I don't believe in any initiation or anything. You have to free yourself from the force of instructions that have been pushing you in this direction. There is no more steps to take, and there is no question of anybody initiating you or any such thing. I don't know what happened afterwards. You see, she calls it auto-writing, you know, something like that. You see, these the mediums are possessed by some overwhelming power, and they talk about things which they are incapable of otherwise. You know, that I have seen, you see, in different cases, but there is nothing to it as far as I'm concerned. They may not even be aware of the fact how, you see, the whole thing is coming out of them. They attribute it to some spirit or attribute it to some power, something that is pushing them in the direction. But I personally don't attach any importance to it. You know, I don't call it a hallucination or self-deception or self-delusion, but the totality of man's experiences is part of you, you know. So, when once the frontiers are not there, all that is flushed out of your system. You see, it's thrown out of your system. And then, what you call consciousness becomes so pure that nothing can touch it afterwards, nothing can contaminate it. It remains untouched by anything. Even if you throw some filth in that, even that filth cannot touch that anymore. So there is nothing to it as far as I'm concerned. I have heard about it. I read a review of the book somewhere. I know very vaguely about it. Not only that lady, but also others. So I don't think I have much to say on that subject. There is nothing to it as far as I'm concerned. That is attributed to some spirit, you see, possessing them, or that they are that particular individual is a medium, and all that kind of a thing. I was altogether on a different line, you see, you know. I was not interested in anybody giving me a helping hand. You know, that was my makeup, my temperament, you see. You know, I suspected any offer that anybody promised, you know, the help, both in the secular as well as the spiritual fields, you know. So I learned very little from others, precious little, practically nothing from others, you know. So I struggled and tried things for myself and by myself and rejected everything because nothing worked with me, you know. So I never believed in anything, you know. So my temperament was completely different from the very beginning. So that's why I say the whole thing is genetically controlled. So you were struggling, you were wanting to do something, achieving something, no chance at all. The one basic thing in the whole situation is to free yourself from the burden of it all. That's all. The burden of the culture that is imposed on us. Not that you become anti-social or go about destroying everything, burning the libraries and tearing up the idols, destroying the temples and churches. It's not that, you see. So the dependence on that is really the problem for man. Except the things that are functional in value, most of the culture is absurd. It's false. So that falsifies the individuals. You also become false. So we all live false lives. It's because of that, because of the culture, the influence of culture on man's thinking. Religion is part of that. The whole culture has come out of religious thinking of man. So when once you are freed from the burden of the whole thing, you are back again in your primeval and primitive state of consciousness. But at the same time, you are not primitive. That's the only thing. The consciousness is back in its the natural way. It's functioning. That's all. I use the word consciousness within the quotation marks, So that is something which cannot be achieved through you, through any effort of yours at all. If that luck is there, I use the word luck because you cannot understand why this happens to a particular individual. Not that he is specially blessed or specially chosen by some power in this world. There is no other power there. Whatever power there is, the power is in you too. It's not that you are specially chosen for any purpose, but it just happens. That's all. And that has no value for the society. It has no social content at all. So actually, to put it that way is misleading because it sounds strange when I say that individual is the end product of the evolution. So that man's nature has finished that with that individual. Nature has no use for that individual because he cannot produce one like him either physically or otherwise. Physically it is important for the process of evolution because it's interested in keeping the thing going. So it has perfected that, you see, perfected the body, perfected everything. It has no use for it at all. So as long as the momentum is there, it stays there and then it withers away. That's the end of it. So you cannot turn that into a model and use it for changing, bringing about a change either in you or the world. To put it that way is misleading because it sounds strange when I say that individual is the end product of the evolution. So that man's nature has finished that with that individual. Nature has no use for that individual because he cannot produce one like him either physically or otherwise. Physically it is important for the process of evolution because it's interested in keeping the thing going. So it has perfected that, you see, perfected the body, perfected everything. It has no use for it at all. So as long as the momentum is there, it stays there and then it withers away. That's the end of it. So you cannot turn that into a model and use it for changing, bringing about a change either in you or the world at large. That's all that I'm emphasizing. So such individuals have no use for the society at all. If they try, you see, to do anything, they create nothing but mischief in this world. They leave behind mess. They think that they are full of compassion for mankind. Save the mankind. What for? Who has given the mandate for them to save mankind? They have not saved them. What we need is this, that the world must be saved from these so-called saviors of mankind. Nobody can create this hunger in the individual, you see. It's not a question of satisfying the hunger. That's where we commit the biggest of blunders. It's not a question of quenching your thirst, not a question of satisfying your hunger. You see, the hunger has to burn itself out without, you see, satisfying your hunger or without quenching your thirst. That's all. Nothing can satisfy that hunger. Nothing can quench the thirst. Not to get something, but you see, to be free from the whole thing. The burden of the whole thing. You see, it's a very heavy weight. When you can't throw it away, the more you try to throw it away, the more burdensome it is. It becomes. It just drops away, finished. That's the end of it.
But if you now choose to oppose suffering in the world as a way of giving some kind of sense to your being here, I think you said you can not possibly logically be seen as something which is, from your point of view, wrong to do. I mean, your attitude is it's kind of choice. And the other attitude, which I think is more...
There is no choice. No.
Is there...
No, it is the choice that is the painful part in the whole business. There is no choice.
Is there
not? No. The choice is always painful, because the choice doesn't give the results you want. Sometimes, maybe. But most of the time, no. The demand for permanence is really the cause of man's sorrow. You see, it is constantly changing. The whole thing is in a flux. So you want everything to be permanent, you see. The demand, the status quo, is all that the society is interested in. And the society is not out there. The society is that individual, you see.
But also other individuals
Huh?
suffer.
No. You see, you put it out. The society is not out there. What the society stands for is there in you. So it is not possible for you to separate yourself from the society and reform it, change it, modify it. All your thinking is the society. All the ideas you have belong to the society. So you cannot separate yourself from the society, run away from the societies. So that's the only reality we have. There is no other reality. As long as you are interested in some other reality or the ultimate reality, you will never come to grips with the reality as exactly the way it is. So then you find out even that is not possible. Because that is influencing all the time. So anything you experience of the so-called reality is influenced, colored by, you see, your thinking, your thoughts or ideas or whatever you want to put. So you have no way of experiencing the reality of anything. So I think we stop now. Isn't that enough? No? I have gone on for 1.5 hours. Yesterday 2 hours, now 1.5 hours. It's for you to talk. I don't give any lectures.
I was thinking you had a good character, right, for getting it, let's say getting it. Because you didn't want any helping hands, you didn't believe anything.
I didn't get anything. You are not convinced of that. I have not gained anything. It's all that I'm saying, all the time.
But didn't you lose something?
No, if I have not gained anything, how can I lose anything? See, they always go together, you see. Yes, I can't lose anything because I haven't gained anything. There's no question of losing anything, you see. Your problem is the fear of losing something. The fear of what you have. You don't want to lose. So the other thing is the fear of not getting what you want. But basically it is the same.
Yes, I understand.
Yeah.
But you say you have to burn your
What do you
own
have to
hungry,
lose?
right?
What do you have to lose there? You tell me. Do you have anything to lose there? You have nothing
No,
to...
I don't know what I get, so that's
Huh?
a bit...
No, but forget about getting. What do you have to lose there?
Where I'm used to. That's
Huh?
the things where I'm
That
used
you have,
Yes.
that you know, that you experience.
So I'm used to all those
No,
things.
don't say the things
Oh.
you know, the things you experience. So through the help of these things you have created something you call yourself. So if you lose this, what you call you also goes. So that you is dependent on this. That's all that I'm saying. There is no you there other than the knowledge which has given you the experiences. So that knowledge doesn't belong to you. You have appropriated it, you see, So that belongs to everybody. It's not yours anymore. And through the help of that knowledge that is put in by the culture, you have been able to experience and gather, collect all these experiences, put them together and tell yourself that this is me. So, you depend upon the society. You have no independent existence of your own. That's all that I'm saying. You have no independent existence. You are not an individual at all. And all the time you want to be an individual. How can you be an individual as long as you depend upon that? You can rebel against that, you can become a reactionary, but yet you see every time you want pleasure, you have to depend upon that. You cannot have any pleasure, you have to use something to have pleasure, an idea, a person, a thing, an experience. You understand? Otherwise,
Yes.
pleasure doesn't exist in a vacuum.
Yeah.
So if you want to have pleasure, you have to depend upon that society. You have no escape from, you cannot escape from that at all. Don't say that you are free from that society. It is not, you see, the establishment that is really the problem, but your dependence upon that for your very pleasure in this world. Everything you do is pleasure. I'm not saying, please get this straight, that you should not seek pleasure. No. So you are not an individual, you will never become an individual at all. The pleasure is not, limited to the sex, and essential pleasures. Everything is a pleasure. If you look at sunset and say it is beautiful, that's essential pleasure, like the sex. You don't understand. You can write poetry, and imagine, you see, and become one with it. The feeling of oneness with nature is one of the most essential pleasures that you can ever imagine. So you see, separate these things, separate that things. If you say it's beautiful, you see, you belong to the society. Now, if you don't like it, that means that is society. You are dependent on that for your very existence. Not just for your food, clothing and shelter. That you can do, you see, and get anything, you see, rob, steal, forge, do anything, you see, that you can satisfy. It's not that is not important. Your dependence on that culture involves you in everything. You can't be free from that as long as you are seeking pleasure. Not only these pleasures, you know. If you read some filthy, shoddy poetry and enjoy, that is pleasure. So you have to depend upon, use something, you understand? You use an author to get pleasure. If you read a book, you see, you are using him and he is using you. That is prostitution. He doesn't accept that fact. The man who is writing the book is to give you pleasure and you get the pleasure. You see how dependent you are on that?
Yes.
So you can't say that you are free from that you are an individual.
No, I didn't know. I feel the dependence of it.
Yes, so you are not an individual. Your wanting to be an individual has no meaning at all. So you belong to that and that belongs to you. And you are that. There's nothing else other than that.
Anyway,
so God is the ultimate pleasure. See, enlightenment is the ultimate pleasure. To seek and want enlightenment is one of the most absurd things. You put it on a higher level and deny yourself sexual pleasure and imagine that you are going to be enlightened. You see, if you practice a celibacy, that is worse than promiscuous indulgence in sex. So the whole spiritual world says, you see, that you must deny that so that you can get more. You are not going to get that at all. Whether you indulge in it or deny for yourself, it really doesn't matter. So you never put both of them on the same level. So how can you get enlightenment as long as you are seeking pleasure? Whether you deny it or indulge in it, it's the same.
Yeah, for that reason.
Because that is the ultimate pleasure, you see.
Yeah.
You know? You see, permanent bliss you want, permanent happiness. Where is the permanence there? You will remain unhappy for the rest of your life as long as you are seeking happiness. There is nothing wrong in demanding pleasure, you know.
No, I know what you mean.
No. Nothing wrong. But I want you to understand what you are actually doing. That's the reason why you are not getting anywhere. You are not going to be enlightened because that is the ultimate pleasure. So if that goes, you see, this also goes. They're all interdependent, you know.
Yes, I see. Yeah.
You will lose every kind of pleasure because that's the ultimate pleasure that is finished. You see, because there is no enlightenment means you are finished with that, and along with it all the other pleasures go. So you want to have all this and that too. So if that goes out of your system, not only enlightenment, God realization, self-realization, self-discovery, transformation, mutation, call it by whatever name you like. If that goes, all these things will go. So you want to change this, you see, a bit here, change a bit there, and pretend that you see are going to function on a different level and in a different dimension. But that's just, you see, your fantasy. I keep saying this every time, every day, the same thing I can say. I mean, you know. In 5 minutes you get the thing that I'm trying to put across. You know, it's finished. You sit here and listen to me for 50 years and nothing is going. change the situation. I'm saying there is no change and you want change. There is nothing to gain and you think you will gain something. But Robert, will you permit me to stop? There's
May I ask you?
yes, please. Yes.
If I understand you well, the most important thing in life is to exist and to have no goals.
Have goals.
Yes.
And yes, right.
And my question is...
No, I didn't say that. Yes, I said the opposite of it.
Oh, I understood that.
Quite the opposite of it. It's your goals that are responsible for your misery.
Mm-hmm.
To make a simple thing called existence into a monstrous absurdity. Painful thing. It's the goal.
Yes.
And it is the culture that has placed before you this goal, Hmm? And so they tell you two things at the same time, you see, Ambition is bad, for example, you see, but everything, you see, is built on that thing called ambition. Otherwise you are lost, you are finished. You can go around telling yourself and telling others that you are nobody, that you are not ambitious. If that is so, it's a sickness. You see, you are a sick person if you are not ambitious. It's not a healthy situation. You become spiritually ambitious. You see, So you don't care for material ambitions, so you become spiritually ambitious. You see, this is the enlightenment becomes your ambition. So still you are ambitious. And yet, you see, the same culture says that you should not be ambitious. You see, this is all the religious things tell you that you should not be ambitious. You see, you have created, or the society, culture has created for you this neurotic situation. So if you are not ambitious, it is because of that only. That tells you that you should not be ambitious. Or it is too much for you to be ambitious. You cannot keep the race. You give up. Something radically wrong with that person. He is a sick person if he says that he has no ambition. So that must go. The goal that is placed before you must go first. So if you are interested in that goal, reaching that goal, arriving at that goal, and say that you are not ambitious here means, you see, that individual is a sick person. So he is not going to reach that goal because that goal does not exist. You see. So all those who are seeking and pursuing that goal get together and think that they are, you see, spiritual, not materialistic. They are worse than these materialists, you see, except to feel superior. They are losing both.
That's why I made the conclusion it's not possible to live like the way you explain. I cannot understand how to handle. The only answer for me is to exist, not more, not less. But that is not possible in this society.
But you are somehow existing.
Yes, I am here.
You are existing, you see, somehow in spite of everything. You are surviving. I don't think I got what she is trying to say.
What does it mean, just to exist? What does it mean?
Exist. Be alive. everybody has his own way, and that is the difference between human beings.
You see, what I have been saying all the time is that the existence you are talking about is just born out of an idea.
That's it.
Just an idea. Actually, if the idea is not there, you don't exist.
But what is wrong with the fact that existence, as I think I feel, is an idea?
That why you are trying to change that situation? That's all that I'm asking you. If that is so,
I'm fine. I'm accepting.
you have not accepted.
I am accepting.
No, you want to bring about a change in you and change in the world around you. The demand for change means that you have not accepted that. You want to be something other than what you are. So how can you say that you have accepted? I am not saying it is not so, it is so. But yet why you are interested in bringing about a change in you and in the world at large? This is all that I am asking you see. There is nothing that you can do to alter, change that, but somehow you feel that it must be changed into something. Why you are dissatisfied with that? Why is there this restlessness, this uneasiness, you see, this feeling that you must become somebody other than what you are? So this movement in the direction of becoming something other than what you actually are is the cause of your suffering, is painful. See, to be yourself, you don't need any will, you don't need to do anything, you don't have to put in any effort. So, wanting to be something other than what you are is the one that is demanding will, effort, strength, and then you see the whole thing is resulting in suffering, pain and sorrow for you. So it is that goal that the society culture has placed before you, the kind man, the loving man, the good man, spiritual man. Those are the goals. Perfect man, you see, you are all the time trying to fit yourself into that framework. And so that demand has resulted in the use of will, in the use of effort, in the use of creating the misery for you. That's all that I'm saying.
That's why I
So
say.
you want the things to be different. You think that there is something more interesting, more meaningful, more purposeful than what you are actually doing. You see, that is why you become restless. The restlessness is always there as long as you want something to be meaningful, something to be purposeful.
Now, that's why I say it is only possible if you have no wishes, no goals. The only thing actually be in life.
Then this becomes very interesting. All the energy that you are putting into that is to achieve your goal, is released for you. You know?
That you say, it is very unhappy situation to have all those goals.
Is it not?
Yes.
That's all, is it not?
I do not consider it unhappy to
Huh?
have goals. I do not at all consider it unhappy to have goals.
Then
Certainly not.
Then why are you happy?
I'm saying I'm not unhappy.
Yeah. You know, that's playing on words, you see. The demand to bring about a change in you implies that you don't like what is there. Obviously. Yes.
But
So it is that has created the restlessness, you see, because you don't see any meaning there. You want some meaning in what you are doing. Huh?
Yeah, of course.
So looking for meaning, searching for a meaning, has made it impossible for you to accept the reality. There may not be any meaning there at all. It has its own meaning.
I accept.
Yes. So there may not be any purpose. The life has its own purpose, it has its own meaning. We really don't know what it is, you see. But we want a meaning, you see, of our own. Obviously, you see, you don't see any meaning. You don't see any purpose. That is why you are searching for a purpose, for a meaning. You see, you don't think that there is any meaning in your life, you see. So there must be some meaning. That's the goal that I'm talking about. There must be some purpose. You're getting up in the morning, working, you see, making a living and having sex, producing children, you see, go through life, misery, pain. All of them are there. Happiness, unhappiness, pleasure, pain, they're all there, you see. So you want one without the other, which is not possible, you see. So the whole search of man is, you see, to have one without the other. Only pleasure without pain. That's what everybody wants. There's not one single exception there. So only pleasure and no pain. So everything you want is only pleasure. Nothing wrong, you see, but you have not succeeded. So there's somehow a hope. So if I had that, you see, enlightenment is... tell you two things at the same time, you see, you know. Ambition is bad, for example, you see, but everything, you see, is built on that thing called ambition. Otherwise you are lost, you are finished. You can say, go around telling yourself and telling others that you are nobody, that you are not ambitious. If that is so, it's a sickness. You see, you are a sick person if you are not ambitious. It's not a healthy situation. You become spiritually ambitious. You see, you know. So you don't care for material ambitions, so you become spiritually ambitious. You see, this is the enlightenment becomes your ambition. So still you are ambitious. And yet, you see, the same culture says that you should not be ambitious. You see, this is all the religious things tell you that you should not be ambitious. You see, you have created, or the society, culture has created for you this neurotic situation. So if you are not ambitious, it is because of that only. That tells you that you should not be ambitious. Or it is too much for you to be ambitious. You know, you cannot keep the race. You give up. Something radically wrong with that person. He is a sick person if he says that he has no ambition. So that must go. The goal that is placed before you must go first. So if you are interested in that goal, reaching that goal, arriving at that goal, and say that you are not ambitious here means, you see, that individual is a sick person. So he is not going to reach that goal because that goal does not exist. You see. So all those who are seeking and pursuing that goal get together and think that they are, you see, spiritual, not materialistic. They are worse than these materialists, you see, you know, except to feel superior. They are losing both.
That's why I made the conclusion it's not possible to live like the way you explain. I cannot understand how to handle. The only answer for me is to exist, not more and not less. But that is not possible in this society.
But you are somehow existing.
Yes, I am here.
You are existing, you see, somehow in spite of everything. You are surviving. I don't think I got what she is trying to say.
What does it mean, just to exist? What does it mean?
Exist. Be alive. Everybody has his own way. And that is the difference between human beings.
You see, what I have been saying all the time is that the existence you are talking about is just born out of an idea.
That's what you say.
Just an idea. Actually, if the idea is not there, you don't exist.
But what is wrong with the fact that existence, as I think I feel, is an idea?
That why you are trying to change that situation? That's all that I'm asking you. If that is so,
I'm fine. I'm accepting.
you have not accepted.
I am accepting.
No, you want to bring about a change in you and change in the world around you. The demand for change means that you have not accepted that. You want to be something other than what you are. So how can you say that you have accepted? I am not saying it is not so, it is so. But yet why you are interested in bringing about a change in you and in the world at large? This is all that I am asking you see. There is nothing that you can do to alter, change that, but somehow you feel that it must be changed into something. Why you are dissatisfied with that? Why is there this restlessness, this uneasiness, you see, this feeling that you must become somebody other than what you are? So this movement in the direction of becoming something other than what you actually are is the cause of your suffering, is painful. See, to be yourself, you don't need any will, you don't need to do anything, you don't have to put in any effort. So, wanting to be something other than what you are is the one that is demanding will, effort, strength, and then you see the whole thing is resulting in suffering, pain and sorrow for you. So it is that goal that the society culture has placed before you, the kind man, the loving man, the good man, spiritual man. Those are the goals. Perfect man, you see, you're all the time trying to fit yourself into that framework. And so that demand has resulted in the use of will, in the use of effort, in the use of creating the misery for you. That's all that I'm saying.
That's why I
So
say.
you want the things to be different. You think that there is something more interesting, more meaningful, more purposeful than what you are actually doing. You see, that is why you become restless. The restlessness is always there as long as you want something to be meaningful, something to be purposeful.
Now, that's why I say it is only possible if you have no wishes, no goals. The only thing actually be in life.
Then this becomes very interesting. All the energy that you are putting into that is to achieve your goal, is released for you. You know?
That you say, it is very unhappy situation to have all those goals.
Is it not?
Yes.
That's all, is it not?
I do not consider it unhappy.
Huh?
I do not at all consider it unhappy to have goals.
Then
Certainly not.
why are you happy?
I'm saying I'm not unhappy.
Yeah. You know, that's playing on words, you see. The demand to bring about a change in you implies that you don't like what is there. Obviously. Yes.
But I
So it is that has created the restlessness, you see, because you don't see any meaning there. You want some meaning in what you are doing. Huh?
yeah, of course.
So looking for meaning, searching for a meaning, has made it impossible for you to accept the reality. There may not be any meaning there at all. It has its own meaning.
I accept.
Yes.
All of me.
So there may not be any purpose. The life has its own purpose. It has its own meaning. We really don't know what it is, you see. But we want a meaning, you see, of our own. Obviously, you see, you don't see any meaning. You don't see any purpose. That is why you are searching for a purpose, for a meaning. You see, you don't think that there is any meaning in your life, you see. So there must be some meaning. That's the goal that I am talking about. There must be some purpose. You're getting up in the morning, working, you see, making a living and having sex, producing children, you see, go through life, misery, pain. All of them are there. Happiness, unhappiness, pleasure, pain, they're all there, you see. So you want one without the other, which is not possible, you see. So the whole search of man is, you see, to have one without the other. Only pleasure without pain. That's what everybody wants.